And I happened on the Monday morning to have a one-to-one with somebody in my team. So I was her manager, which is actually a good friend of mine, so it was kind of okay. But I sat there, and in front of her I almost cried. I think I did cry a little. And she was like, "What is wrong?" And I was like, I can't tell you what it is, but I am flooded with emotion right now. And I was like, this is not me, I'm hugely professional, you know, I would never dream of, you know, breaking down in that type of, and particularly not with somebody within my team. And so she was like, well look, come to mine after work and we'll do an EFT session. And I'd always trusted her, you know, as soon as I interviewed her, I was on a contract and she was on a contract in our team, and there was such synergy there that I was like, she must come, we'll have great fun working together. And so that evening we went back to hers, and in 90 minutes, she had cleared all that emotion. It was like it had lifted off of my shoulders. And then I had absolute clarity about what was going on. It was because I was facing the uncertainty of leaving the contract world. I didn't know what the business was going to look like. I didn't know how I was going to find my work. And all of that was so unsettling for me, like any change can be, that I started to just scan my entire life to think, what can I pin down to be certain about? What can I really trust is going to be okay? I guess it's really interesting to me how your life can take a completely different turn when you are just open to what that could look like for you. And it's always far beyond your biggest imagination or your dreams. Because I really just think, God, if someone had said to me last Christmas, well not this Christmas but the one before, you'd be running retreats and you'd be doing private coaching work and you'd be living in a house that's quite near the country and all these kind of things, it would just be too much. I'd be like, that's just so far removed from where I am right now, I can't relate. I'm still always just blown away by what I experience with my clients. And so how it works is that you're actually tapping on meridian points, so it's based on Chinese medicine. And the points are over your eye, to the side of your eye here, and we'll be tapping through, but I just thought before we start at least you'll have a sense of where we're going to go with it. Underneath your eye on this point here. And you can use, I tend to use these two fingers, you can use either hand, tap on either side of the face, I tend to tap here, then you've got this point in between your nose, your like cupid bow, then on your chin, then you've got your kind of breast point here, so a couple of inches down, and I tend to butterfly around this a bit really, particularly when people are a bit so because it's a really easy accessible one. Then this one is the kind of gorilla move, so it's where your bra strap would be but underneath your arm, so it's kind of like it's almost like an exercise, isn't it really, hand up. And then the other one is just on your crown, on the top of your head. And before you start that sequence, you normally do a setup. So the body works a bit like a computer does. You know, if you want to download some software, like you want to set up Skype, you say to your body, or you say to your computer, I'm going to set up Skype. And in the same way, you're saying to your body when you start with the setup, this is what I want to work on. So it's almost like your brain and your mind, your unconscious, your conscious, kind of can pick up all the archives around that. It's a bit like a jukebox. It kind of goes, picks up the record, brings it back for you. And so what you're essentially saying is, I want to work on the argument I come with. And so all that person needs to do is repeat what I say to them. And it's important, language is so incredibly important. It's a bit like we were saying earlier, you know, it's how you frame things in your mind around possibilities and all sorts of things and choices. So it's quite, and I know some people say, I like EFT, but it's a bit hard work when you're doing it on yourself. And it's like, fair enough. So this is the beauty of this. You get to just sit back and I kind of tap on you and you just have to repeat after what I say, really. And we can work on anything. Trying to think of a few things that I mean, it's all sorts of things that come up. So it could be an argument, it could be a confidence thing, in terms of what Ali said earlier, in terms of what do you want to achieve over the next month. If you had some buts coming up around that, let's just work with that. And we can kind of just diffuse, I guess, what's going on for you, and then and build kind of. What I love is that you change state with it. And then you create a huge amount of resourcefulness, because what also is magical about EFT is that you access your unconscious. So I really believe that we've all got a very strong innate knowledge and an inner knowing. And when we take away all the noise, we can really get in touch with our truth and what's really for our highest good. And so EFT will help you just clear into the hat. So be just mindful of what it is that you would have worked on before we start. And then just trust that that's there and it can kind of filter at the back. And we'll have, I think we've got at least 10 minutes, haven't we, to do some observations at the end in terms of Q&A. So that'll be an opportunity for you just to kind of share. This was really interesting for me because during the process I experienced this or that. And we'll ask Tina if there's anything that she would be comfortable sharing afterwards as well.
Okay.
Yeah? And before we start, I guess from your point of view, if you think about the thing that you would have worked with, if you give it a rating, so as you're thinking about it right now, if 0 is it's not on your radar at all, and 10's being the extreme it could possibly be, just give it a number, and that will make it more sense when we start. So, our time is done.
Our time is done.
I know it.
I know it.
The cord's been cut.
The cord's been cut.
He just needs to know it's been cut.
He just needs to know it's been cut.
It's a bit like a baby right now.
It's a bit like a baby right now.
Demanding attention.
Demanding attention.
I'm not his mum.
I'm not his mum.
I'm not his mum.
I'm not his mum.
I'm not here to make him feel good.
I'm not here to make him feel good.
That's not my job.
That's not my job.
My job is me.
My job is me.
All about me.
All about me.
He needs to stop texting.
He needs to stop texting.
I don't know how that's going to happen.
I don't know how that's going to happen.
I don't know how that's going to happen.
Don't know how that's going to happen.
And so it brings it all back.
So it brings it all back.
This is all well and good.
This is all well and good.
She can talk about Aladdin.
We can talk about Aladdin.
She can tap on me.
She can tap on me.
I might feel good in the moment. So you were already in your power before.
Well, yes, I suppose maybe I was, but I didn't realise maybe I'm stronger than I thought I was.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Mm.
I do. I definitely just feel different. I just can't believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was just that very first one.
Do you wanna, I always feel the need to get into my body when these things happen, so I kind of want to invite everyone to get up and just shake around a little. Because you know when you suddenly go, I am actually powerful, and I do own my power, and so there's something about going,